Caitlin Clark just did something no one in the arena expected. And Angel Reese's own teammates went silent watching it happen. But here's the twist nobody's talking about. The player who almost stole this entire game wasn't Clark or Reese. Stay till the end, because what happened in the final 10 seconds completely changes how you'll see this rivalry. Before we get into it, if you're into deep WNBA breakdowns like this, hit subscribe now, because we're about to go through every single angle of this one, from history to the final buzzer. Let's set the scene. State Farm Arena, Sunday night. The Indiana Fever walk into Atlanta to face the Dream. And once again, all eyes are on the two names that have defined this era of women's basketball, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. This wasn't just another regular season game. Every single time these two share a court, it turns into an event. Cameras everywhere, fans split down the middle. And to really understand why Sunday night hits so hard, you have to understand just how deep this rivalry actually goes. Rewind all the way back to college. Reese's LSU team beat Clark's Iowa Hawkeyes in the 2023 national championship game. That loss stuck with Clark. And when the two programs met again in 2024, Clark answered with a 41-point explosion in the Elite Eight to eliminate Reese and LSU and send Iowa back to the Final Four. That single game flipped the entire narrative of this rivalry before either of them had even played a WNBA minute. Then, they both entered the league in the same draft class, and the storyline only got bigger. Their very first regular season meeting as rookies became the most watched WNBA game on any network in 23 years. Think about that for a second. Two rookies. And they broke a 2-decade-old television record before either one had played a full season. If you think this rivalry is just hype, you clearly haven't been paying attention. Let's keep going. In that rookie season, Indiana and Chicago played 4 times, and Clark's Fever won 3 of the 4. But it wasn't one-sided in every category. Reese consistently out-rebounded and often outscored Clark in those individual matchups, while Clark dominated the assist column every single time. Different games, different jobs on the floor, and honestly, that's part of what makes this pairing so fascinating. They're not even really the same type of player. Clark is the engine, the shot creator, the constant, unrelenting pressure valve for her offense. Reese is the glass eater, the second chance machine, someone who treats every missed shot like it's still her possession. That rookie year also came with real tension, not just performance. A flagrant foul from Reese's teammate Chennedy Carter on Clark early in the season made national headlines and sparked a sports media firestorm that lasted for weeks. That moment planted a seed of physicality into this rivalry that's honestly never fully gone away. Fast forward to this season. Reese got traded to the Atlanta Dream in the offseason, stepping into a completely different situation. A loaded playoff roster, new teammates, new expectations. Meanwhile, Clark entered the year fully healthy after injuries limited her to just 13 games in 2025. Both players walked into this season with something to prove. And here's where it gets personal. Before Sunday's game, Reese actually held a losing head-to-head record against Clark. In their 6 professional meetings up to that point, she had only beaten Clark once, and that lone win came all the way back in her rookie season with the Sky. 4 straight losses in a row to Clark followed after that. But back in June of this year, Reese finally snapped that streak. The Dream beat the Fever 108-101, and Reese was outstanding. 21 points, 11 rebounds, a full-strength performance that proved she could go toe-to-toe with Clark and come out on top. So heading into Sunday's rematch, both fan bases knew exactly what was on the line. Would Reese make it 2 wins in a row against her old rival, or would Clark reclaim control of this series? If you're new to this channel, and you didn't know this history existed, that's exactly why Sunday's ending hit as hard as it did. Keep watching, because now we get into the game itself. Let's talk about the bigger conversation swirling around this matchup too, because it wasn't just about wins and losses. A few weeks before this game, sports commentator Jamile Hill made a bold prediction on live television. that by the time Angel Reese retires, she could be remembered as the Michael Jordan of the WNBA. That's an enormous statement to make about any player still early in her career. Stephen A. Smith didn't let that comment sit quietly. He pushed back hard on national television, making the case that greatness isn't something you predict in advance. It's something you prove, night after night, year after year. That debate exploded across sports media and added even more weight to every single Reese performance that followed, including this one. So when Indiana and Atlanta lined up on Sunday, there was more riding on it than just 2 points in the standings. Let's get into exactly how it played out. Caitlin Clark finished the night with 26 points and 9 assists. Steady, controlled. Exactly the kind of performance that's made her the engine of this Fever team all season long. She also hit 2 enormous free throws in overtime that ended up being the difference in a one-possession game. But here's what a lot of headlines are leaving out completely. Angel Reese had a genuinely strong night herself. 15 points, 14 rebounds, 6 assists. That's 1 assist short of a triple-double for a player who's still expanding her game well beyond the paint. If you only watch the highlight clips, you'd think this was a one-sided story. It absolutely was not. The real headline of the night might actually belong to someone else entirely, Allisha Gray, who dropped a game-high 32 points for Atlanta and nearly single-handedly stole this game away from Indiana. On the Fever side, Michaela Timpson quietly put up 20 points, while Kelsey Mitchell extended an incredible personal streak, 19 consecutive games, scoring 20 or more points. Now let's get to the moment everyone's been replaying all week. Late in the fourth quarter, the score is tied at 81. Atlanta gets multiple chances to win it outright. Ryan Howard misses a three-pointer. Reese grabs the offensive rebound, has a golden chance to be the hero right there on the putback, and it doesn't fall. The game heads to overtime. This is the clip that's been clipped and reposted everywhere, and it's easy to understand why. In a game already carrying this much history and this much weight, a missed shot with the season and the storyline both on the line is always going to get attention. But basketball is a long game, and what happened right after mattered just as much. Drop a comment below. Do you think a single missed shot like that should define an entire night, or is that just how social media works now, always chasing the one clip instead of the full picture? Overtime opens with Reese scoring off a teammate's miss, cutting right back into Indiana's composure early. But then Indiana answers with an 8-0 run. Kelsey Mitchell's layup with just over 13 seconds left pushes the Fever's lead to 5 and locks in her 20th point of the night. Then the game gets chaotic fast. A foul call on Clark with 10 seconds remaining sends Ryan Howard to the free throw line for 3 attempts. And broadcasters on air openly questioned whether the call should have been overturned on review. It wasn't. Howard makes all 3. Suddenly, a comfortable lead is down to just 2 points, and Atlanta has new life with the clock running out. Indiana gets fouled right back on the other end. Clark steps to the line, ice cold under that kind of pressure, and calmly buries both free throws. Atlanta misses their final attempt at a comeback. Clark grabs the defensive rebound to seal it, and instead of waiting around to get fouled again, she just launches the ball the length of the court to run out the clock herself. Final score: Fever 95, Dream 91. If a finish like that doesn't get your heart rate up, I honestly don't know what will. And that's exactly why this rivalry keeps pulling in record-breaking numbers every single time these two teams share a court. Now here's where it gets even more interesting when you zoom out. Earlier in the game, Clark pulled off her signature step-back 3 from 24 feet, right in Reese's face, after running off a double screen. It's already one of the highlight clips of the week. But go back and actually watch the full possession. Reese switches onto her well, plays it about as clean as you can defensively, and it's simply Clark's shot-making, not a blown assignment, that makes the difference. That distinction matters if you actually want to understand these two as players, and not just as a manufactured storyline. Quick question for you watching right now. Who do you think has the higher long-term ceiling? Clark as a pure floor general and shot creator, or Reese as an elite rebounding and increasingly skilled playmaking forward? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one of them. So where does this leave the bigger legacy conversation, the Jamila Hill prediction, and the Stephen A. Smith pushback? Honestly, nowhere close to settled. One overtime game, even a dramatic one, doesn't prove or disprove a career-long comparison to a player like Michael Jordan. Reese put up a near triple-double against one of the more athletic, deep rosters in the league. Clark delivered in the clutch exactly when her team needed her most. Both of those things can be true at the same time, and that's precisely why this rivalry refuses to get boring. Zoom out to the full head-to-head history between these two, and it tells you everything about why fans can't look away. Across their careers, Clark is averaging over 21 points, 9 assists, and 6 rebounds against Reese specifically. Reese, on the other side, is averaging close to 15 points and over 12 rebounds against Clark. Two completely different statistical profiles, two completely different jobs on the floor, and somehow every single time they meet, it turns into one of the most watched games of that entire week on the schedule. With Sunday's win, Indiana improves to 23-12, climbing into 4th place, riding a 4-game winning streak and 11 wins in their last 14 games. Atlanta stays firmly in the thick of the playoff race too, tied for the second-best record in the entire league, just 1 game back of Minnesota for 1st place. Both teams have already split this year's season series 2 games apiece. If the playoffs shake out the way the standings are currently trending, there's a very real chance we see Clark and Reese collide again on an even bigger stage, with even higher stakes than Sunday night. And if that happens, you already know we'll be right back here breaking down every single possession for you. Before you go, if this kind of deep, honest breakdown is exactly what you're here for, subscribe and turn on notifications, because the next chapter of this rivalry could come sooner than anyone expects, and you genuinely do not want to miss it. What's your prediction for the next Clark versus Reese matchup? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.